If you look at it, the whole argument was that the civilians had to be protected. Now NATO is clearly on one side of the civil war. So the pretense of protection of civilians is gone. What we have really is a civil war in which NATO is on one side. Would that be a correct representation of the military situation?
Well, let's say that this NATO conflict in Libya has been going on for 120 days. Perhaps NATO's attempt to protect civilians lasted for about 48 hours. It certainly didn't last for more than a few days, because very soon after, at least I think by the 21st of March, very soon after, NATO had sent in airships to provide aerial support for the rebels as they advanced on Misrata. So it's clear, it was clear from within 48 hours, 50 hours or so after the UN resolution 1973 and after the French first started bombing over Libya, it was very clear that NATO had taken a position on behalf of the rebels. And then very soon after that, the language of the heads of state of the main NATO countries, that is to say the French, the United States and the British, their language had made it clear when they said things like Gaddafi must go and that there needs to be a major change in Libya. So from a military position of supporting the rebels, then to political support for the rebels, and finally they corralled the head of the International Criminal Court, Moreno Ocampo, who began to open a dossier to investigate war crimes against Muammar Gaddafi. And of course, Mr. Moreno Ocampo at no point has opened a dossier to investigate civilian killings by NATO aircraft. So it was a very one-sided investigation by the International Criminal Court, and therefore militarily, politically, and in terms of international law, it was clear that the G7 countries and NATO had come into a civil war on one side and was no longer following the UN's philosophy of responsibility to protect.